stitched together in green. Got the hearts, got the hands, got a story to write. All the hope of a land burning bright in the night. Shoulders touch and hear the thunder start. Every heartbeat marching like a drum. Hear our call, green, white, roar, we give it all. Lift that flag up to the sky for the Republic. We'll never hide. Side by side, one small island, giant pride. Sing it louder, make history. This is our time, our team, our victory. Oh, 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 oh. In the rain.
Die. No, not Tottenham till we die. Yes, Ireland till we die. Yes, the sister channel of the greatest Irish channel in the world. And we thought, well, why not make a proper Irish channel? And that is what we've done. Tonight, we're joined by a legend of the Scottish world, a man that managed Glasgow Rangers for a short time, but I felt he was hounded out very wrongly by the Rangers board. His record, Philip, is brilliant, isn't it? He played so many games, he ballsed it up. But as Celtic fans, we loved him. We would love him to come back. It is the one and only Russell Martin. Russell, we know you're in a secure location somewhere trying to recover from
I'm in a bunker. I'm in
How
a
are
bunker,
you,
and I'm under Glasgow in a bunker somewhere. Just waiting
How are
to
you,
little right back to keeper to left back to keeper, right back. Nah, I'm good, mate. How are you? How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, we're not too bad. And also my usual co-host, the man that's still learning the Donald Trump dance. If you didn't watch last night, he nearly got it right, and then he fell over at the last minute. He's now in the middle of recruiting somebody from Dancing with the Stars to come in to teach him that. But breaking news, he has been asked by the Irish manager to come in and give the team talk before our playoff game, and he said no. Philip, why?
I don't want to be responsible for them losing 7-0, which they would be if I gave them the team talk. No, I'm very confident we're going to get through this playoff because the fans out there will absolutely die for that team in Prague. They really will. And it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a great night. And we have to get through. But then again, another match on the Sunday after it. So no one Ireland will probably beat Czechia and then lose their second game at home or wherever it's going to be. I don't know where it's going to be. But
No, we're home we could be playing Denmark at home.
Christian Eriksen. Interesting.
Yeah. Do you think we might get revenge for them scoring us 5?
See that?
You what?
Christian Eriksen is going to get relegated this season with his new team, Wolfsburg in Germany.
Are they close to the drop, are they?
They're facing the drop, I think. Yeah, they're close to it. I don't know. I think they're doing a mirror image season to Tottenham, you know. So anyway.
Well, let's put Tottenham to one side.
Please do.
That's easy. Let's talk. Look, let's start in it. Philip, look, there is games tonight. Of course, League of Ireland plays on a Friday. So before we get into the discussion about the Old Firm, what come out of it and what we think should happen for the next Old Firm, which is coming up very shortly. What is the goals and the games tonight, and what the standings as they are at the moment?
There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 matches on tonight, and the scores: Bohemians and Galway's no score. Derry City 1, Shelbourne 1. 2 early goals there. Dundalk 0, Waterford 0. Bit of a surprise here: St Patrick's Athletic 0, Drogheda 1. And then the match has just started 5 minutes ago. It's actually I'm watching on TV here at the minute. Is Sligo Rovers and Shamrock Rovers? No score yet. So that's all the matches.
So you mean Stephen Kenny's losing?
Stephen Kenny sends his regards, Dennis.
Yeah, is he losing? That's what I want to know.
No, he's not losing yet. No. Oh, he is actually. Sorry, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So they normally have so many games on a Friday, guys? Because like I said, I don't know the league that well.
Friday and Monday they play the games.
Is that to avoid the Premier League and everything?
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Interesting.
So there you go.
So Philip, go on. Do you want to stick it? Yeah, go on.
No, go on there. Go on. I was finished.
Now, do you want to kick us off then? Old Firm.
Right.
What was your thoughts about it when you saw that it wasn't the greatest match in the world, Philip, if I'm being honest, but what was your thought afterwards of what you saw?
Well, I mean, I've been following Old Firm games for a long, long time. And I mean, I suppose to show you a history of why there's animosity between the two clubs, back in the, well, I suppose back into the 19th century and the start of the 20th century, there was an awful lot of people travelling over from Ireland, both north and south, to work in Scotland, either in shipyards or in potato picking during the summer or whatever. And the Protestant population of the north went over there, as did the Catholic population of the south. And they obviously latched on to a football team when they're over there. And as it is, the Protestants latched onto Rangers, the Catholics latched onto Celtic, because of the Celtic was formed by an Irish priest or an Irish brother. And it's become probably, I'd say, the most fierce rivalry in world football. And I'm taking in, so there's some fairly heavy teams playing in Turkey. I think there's 3 or 4 Premiership teams in Istanbul playing together. But I think Rangers Celtic is the ultimate local derby for 2 reasons. One, because they're local, and secondly, there is a horrendous. Now, this is the bit I don't agree with. There was a horrendous religious undertone to these games. It's literally the Pope is told to do certain very unnatural things by the Rangers fans at every game, and the Celtic fans aren't slow to support the IRA at a lot of games. So that's enough to raise the blood of any fan, and that's why what happened on Sunday. I'm not a bit surprised it happened. I'm only surprised that the police and the stewards couldn't realize what was going to happen and have a stronger presence there, because the presence was not strong enough. It really wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, Tequila, you and me talked about it a bit on our other channel, didn't we? At the end of one of our shows. And I decided to bring on here just to widen the conversation. But as a non-Celtic Rangers fan, and which you did say you sort of side to Celtic a little bit, but not as probably passionate as me or Philip, what was your reaction to see it? And what's your thoughts of an Old Firm? Because for me, Old Firm is everything. When we play Rangers, I want to beat Rangers at all costs. I don't care. I don't like Rangers. I prefer Arsenal more than I prefer Rangers.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
how much that exactly. But from somebody on the outside, what does it look like to a non-Celtic Rangers fan?
Well, until Philip just mentioned it, I didn't know, because even though I'm half Scottish, it's only on my father's side, who I never really knew. So I've never gone to Scotland. So the closest I ever got was I've gone to Newcastle. So I've never even been to Scotland. So even though I'm half Scottish, biology-wise, genetic-wise, I don't know the country that much. So I didn't know about the religious history between the two teams, which spices everything up a lot more than I probably realized. So I didn't realize those undertones were quite as much as Philip said. So it's probably a worse situation than maybe I was giving it credit for, and as an outsider looking in. When Philip says it's the most fiercest rivalry, I mean the Turkish teams that he mentions are up there, but I always thought that at least they've got their own grounds, where you got like the two Milan teams. Obviously, they share the same ground. So I always considered that to be probably one of the most worst ones, because, like I say, they don't even have their individual ground. They literally play in the same place. But when I saw it on TV, I did think to myself, we kind of mentioned it before, Derm. I'm really careful what I say, a little bit. It's an excuse for. I think I said to you, it's an excuse for young men who are very unhappy with their lives for whatever reason. There's a lot of unhappiness, just look at the world. They use it as an outlet of an aggression. And I think that I don't think it's particularly justified. I didn't realize about the religious stuff, like I say, until Philip mentioned it. So I was always under the impression it was just an excuse just to let out. Do I want to use the word hatred? I mean, you're kind of describing hatred a little bit with what you were saying.
It is hatred.
There is real hatred there. It's not. It's so much more than just football. Football violence, which obviously is in lots of different countries. So I think it goes a lot deeper than maybe I was giving it credit for. But my initial reaction was, it's just a lot of young men, impressionable young men, probably fueled by a bit of alcohol, probably some other medications going on as well. Who just life is bad for a lot of these people. This is their outlet, and this is what they get to do on a Friday or a Saturday night because they're so unhappy. I mean, that is what I initially thought, and I thought it was just they were just looking for an excuse just to let out aggression, because aggression comes out in there's lots of ways aggression can come out, and I initially thought it was just that, but like I say, Phillips mentioned that there's religious undertones as well, which actually drives it further than an outsider like me realized, to be honest.
There's a joke going around that probably sums it all up. It's a Celtic fan dies and goes to heaven, right? And he's wearing a Celtic shirt. And St. Peter asked him, well, before I let you in here, I'm going to ask you, did you ever do anything really brave in your life? And he says, yeah, I did. Well, what was that? He says, I walked into a Rangers bar in Glasgow wearing a Celtic shirt. And when did you do that? About 30 seconds ago. So, that's the type of, there are bars in Glasgow Celtic fans cannot go into, and there are bars in Glasgow Rangers fans can't go into. And they're open about it. There'll be a sign outside, no Celtic fans allowed, or no Rangers fans allowed.
And if somebody goes in there, it goes to get that bad.
All firm games always kick off now at 12 o'clock. Apart from the cup, that was 1 o'clock. That's to stop the drinking culture for the game. When the 3 o'clock kickoff, everybody will be hammered by the time they got to the match. But the problem is in Glasgow, there are an awful lot of early pub houses that open up at 7 o'clock in the morning. So the 12 o'clock thing doesn't really work.
Doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, like I've been to a Old Firm game. I've seen it in action now. It's something. It's a sight to behold, really. But I'll talk about that in a minute.
But look, what I want to go into, really, I am going to be as harsh on Celtic as I will be on Rangers. So I want to start on the Celtic side with the Green Brigade, which is a fans group that really are a law to themselves when it comes to Celtic, and like the Union Bears are a law to themselves when it comes to Rangers.
The Celtic Ultras.
Yeah. But Celtic did not cover themselves in glory, Philip. Let's be honest, they didn't. How many fans broke into that stadium without tickets, pushing over stewards? It wasn't properly policed. And usually a game there's 2,500. The Scottish FA, who are not the same as Scottish Premier League, said to Rangers, you've got to take 7,500 Celtic fans. And then how many more come in there without tickets and push their way in? So let's start with Celtic first. Are Celtic at fault? They should be responsible for their fans. But when it comes to the Green Brigade, should there be more dialogue with them? Because we know what they're like. They're a law to themselves, but should there be more dialogue with them, Philip?
They probably should, but will there be? I mean, the club will probably make an example of it. If they can identify the people from closed circuit TV who came on the pitch on Sunday, they'll probably slap them with a ban for the rest of the season or something like that, But the actual ultra, I don't think they'll do anything there. They probably wouldn't take any notice of them anyway. Like Celtic were culpable on Sunday, breaking into the ground like that. But then again, if there was enough police on duty, that would not have happened.
Exactly.
And also, I think when you're attributing blame, both sides are completely to blame. But, and I'm not being biased here when I say it, you've got to hold the Rangers fans more accountable, because while the Celtic fans more or less stayed in their own area, the Rangers fans ran 100 yards down the pitch to get stuck in. And that is the bit I think is going to cost Rangers a huge fine. Celtic will be fined as well. And they'll also find the 7,500 capacity will go into the dustbin of history and never be repeated again. It'll be back to the smaller allocation, or as there was for many years, no allocation at all of away fans.
I mean, Tequila, look, atmosphere is always great at Old Firms, but do you think it's unfair to the majority of Celtic fans that behave themselves and the majority of Rangers fans that behave themselves, that there's always this small minority that spoil it for everyone else? I mean, we saw the Rangers fans come on. There was loads of Spider-Mans come on and on the pitch. I mean, if Marvel was trying to try to put out a trailer for the new Marvel Avengers film. They have failed absolutely completely because the amount of Spider-Men were on that pitch that Sunday was unreal. I mean, half of them were falling over.
They can't be identified either, so they've got away with it.
They will be as Spider-Man. But do you know what I mean, Katie? You look at the Premier League, you look at Tottenham, and England did have a bad history of violence.
We've had our moments. We've had our moments.
Yeah.
We've had our moments.
You can never get rid of hooliganism, really. But do you think there's lessons from this game that can be learned to improve it for the next Old Firm, which I think, Philip, am I right? Is it Sunday?
Sunday week, I think, yeah.
Sunday week?
Maybe it's this Sunday. Hold on, I'll tell you now. Hang on there.
What is the lesson? Why first find out? Is there lessons to be learned in your point of view, Caleb?
Well, there's lots of lessons. I think they need to obviously do an investigation to make sure there was enough stewards. They need to do an investigation. If these are organized things, see, if it's just chaotic, right, because of the nature of how the game ended, then it's difficult for them to kind of handle that. But if stuff's being planned, because you know as well as I do, guys, that people get into pubs. If they're of a certain ilk, we know like West Ham are well known for doing this. They'll meet up at pubs and they'll organise fights. They literally will organise fights with each other. So if there's a lot of organisation going on beforehand about doing stuff, that kind of stuff I think can be a little bit more controlled with dialogue from the clubs to. You're assuming that they've got a profile of these, we'll call them alphas, right? They must have some kind of a profiling of at least a lot of them. Maybe not all of them, but at least a lot of them, especially the more older ones who have been fans for a long, long time. So you'd think that they've at least got some kind of profiling going on to know who some of these people are. And that's where the dialogue needs to take place. But if it's just chaotic, an instinct kind of based on just pure emotion and stuff's not been set up beforehand, I think it's a bit harsh to actually blame the clubs for this. But there is something to be said about if there was enough policing from the Rangers end, which is going to be on them. But also, if lots of fans arrived who weren't meant to on the Celtic end, then you can't hold Rangers really accountable for that part. So it's a difficult one to really govern. But what I think is going to happen is, like Philip said, if they're not careful, they'll end up doing these behind closed doors as a punishment. And that isn't fair on the 80%, let's say, of fans who probably have nothing to do with this. One thing I was going to ask you guys, because you guys know a lot more than me, is it 80%? Am I being generous? Or is there a lot of fans who are like that when it comes to the rivalry between, because you've said how intense it is because of the religious aspects as well. I'm assuming like over here, 90% of the fans are law-going citizens who don't get involved and 10% are these problem ones. But is that the same ratio over there?
Yeah, there wouldn't be that many that actually got troublemakers. It's just the fact that you go to the match, you're fired up for the game, and the certain percentage are going to get stuck in and organise a ruck with the other opposition, as you mentioned there. But no, it's like 1986 was the last time a team other than Celtic or Rangers won the Scottish title, right? Now this year it might change. So there's a bit of a competition going on this year, but Celtic fans will turn up at games against St Mirren or Falkirk, and there'll be no problem. As there'll be no problem with Rangers fans. Now the only other team that possibly there could be a bit of a trouble with is when Rangers play Hibs, because Hibs have a sort of a lesser following, if you like, than Celtic of the Catholic population. And on the other hand, when Celtic play Hearts are known to have a Rangers type fan base. So there's subplots going along in Scotland, but most of the time it's fairly peaceful. It's only when these two giants get together that all hell breaks loose.
I mean, look, I was listening to something the other day on the radio that there is a lot of, when it comes to Rangers and Celtic, that when there was some Mirren fan rung up, and he was absolutely against Rangers coming to his stadium. He says they come to the stadium and they'd absolutely destroy it. And he said this is only starting to come in the last few years. There was a Rangers fan rung up. He says he refuses to go to any Rangers game until the Union Bears are told to go away. And it's the same with Celtic with the Green Brigade. we don't have all these teams have their ultras, but you don't hear the Tottenham ultras coming out. And mind you, they're probably too busy in the pub being depressed because Tottenham are shit at the moment. But
they
that's
used
another
to,
story.
Tottenham and West Ham used to have an awful rivalry at games.
Yeah. But the point is, Celtic and Rangers is more than a football match. It really is. It's more than that. And it's the most feared hatred derby in the world.
Yeah.
And you need I mean, the atmosphere of that game Sunday was absolutely fantastic for what was on the telly.
Yeah.
And yes, the songs are dreadful. Yes, they shouldn't be sung, but that's what that game's about.
That's it.
But
just to give you a bit of person, the match, the Old Firm game that I was at now, it's about 20 years ago. But we got there early. There's about 20 of us went over to the game. I'll tell you a quick, very, very humorous story, just a part of that game. One of the lads, we're getting on the plane in Dublin Airport. Now, tickets in those days were all paper tickets. There was no online ones at all. So Murray, he was going up the steps of the plane. He said, "Yeah, I got a ticket for the Rangers Celtic match." And it blew out of his hand and scooted right across the runway at Dublin Airport. So poor old Morris went to Glasgow, no ticket for the match, had to stay in the pub while we were all at the game. But anyway, we waited outside the ground and the two teams arrived and the coaches. And of course, the Celtic fans, this is at Celtic Park, the Celtic fans, gave it, when the Rangers bus arrived, I have never experienced such hatred in all my life. And it was a young Rangers team at the time. And you could see the fear in their eyes getting off the bus. That match was won 4-0 by Celtic. But the goals weren't scored by the team. The goals were scored by the fans outside the ground before Rangers even went in. That's how toxic it was for the Rangers team that day. So
there you go. That's how. Look, there will be an investigation. There will be fines. But guys, will we see from next season? I would say, will we see fans at either game next season? Will they ban away fans from the Old Firm again? Wouldn't
surprise me in the least. I think the FA might not want to do it, but I think the police will have an awful big say in this. They will say, right, we're not going to police those games, and you can't have a match unless there's police. So I think that could be the case.
Yeah, the police could have the power in this one if they flat out says, well, you're gonna have to hire private security or something because we ain't gonna do it.
But that's not going to work either. So
it isn't. Big up to you, Giant68, and listen, get well soon, bud, from all of us. It says, hi, guys. Usually there would be a pre-match safety meeting a few days before the game, including club safety, steward, police, and other involved to determine the level of policing and stewards and required based on intelligence and previous games. Well, Philip, it's only recently the Celtic and Rangers fans have been allowed to go to Celtic Park or Ibrox, hasn't it? Yeah. Just on the last point of this before we move on, where do you see this going?
Well, I think
the fines will be. Will there be heavy fines, light fines?
Well, Johnny makes a very good point there, but I think based on intelligence, there hasn't been a history of that particular size of a crowd for a long, long time. And I think that probably played into the hands of what happened on Sunday. As regards the fine, yes, there will be a fine. There will be a fine. And as Akila said, it is eminently possible the Rangers, being the home team and ultimately responsible, might be told to play maybe one or two games behind closed doors. Not Celtic games, but just other games that could be behind closed doors, which there will be an outcry to that. But I can see that actually happening.
Yeah, I think at the very least they're going to have to cap it. I'm not sure what. I mean, they'll have to analyze it, but they'll have to put much stricter caps. At least for a couple of years, to some kind of a deterrent, if nothing else. They might have to make an example out of it a little bit, just to kind of retain their safe face, retain law and order, stuff like that. Yeah, they might just have to say, look, you're allowed to bring 1,000 fans or something like that. Away fans, you're only allowed to bring 1,000 fans. That's it, no more. Which is not fair for the away fans, because obviously then most of the fans are going to miss out.
Yeah, they make the atmosphere. But look, it is something that's going to carry on. But look, we're going to have a bit of fun. We're going to have a bit of fun here. This is something me and Philip do every St. Patrick's Day, and we are doing it again St. Patrick's Day night. We're bringing back the old video. Now, I don't know why you're shaking your head, Mr. Brady. I don't think Tequila has experienced this video, but we are doing it. And what we're doing,
I'm not sure.
Right now, what we do is we we don't play the sound because we would get done, but we showed the pictures. And what we do is we put our own words to the pictures and whatever topics that has been going on. So because of what happened between Celtic and Rangers, we're now going to put the views if the people in this video were Celtic and Rangers fans. And we're going to have a little bit of fun with it, and also going to throw in Stephen Kenny and co. So Philip knows where this is going.
Yeah.
So this is something we've done before. So what this is, all right, this is the Irish Gardaí breaking down a poaching farm on an island still off Galway.
Yeah.
So you ready?
This was taken about 40 years ago. This is way old now, this one.
This was taken the year I was born, in 1977.
That old? Jeez. Did they have film those in those days? It is.
Here we go. So this is the Scottish FA coming to Rangers, just to have a talk to them about what happened on Sunday. And they're the three officials there, Tequila. Very smart coming by boat, aren't they? You know.
That's something out of Star Wars. It was made in the same year.
Wait, you see the dressing.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was
the whole.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
the whole. That's the whole police force
on,
there.
bud.
That's the whole police force that was stood in the game.
That's got police force turning up for the day.
Yeah.
That's all Rangers hired for the Rangers versus Celtic match.
Anyway, they're just bringing their van in. Like we're parking here, lads. Yeah, they'll be grand here. Yeah, be grand here. We'll.
The boss,
we'll
you sure this is
sure
enough?
no Celtic fans will.
You sure this is enough to bring in all the criminals we're going to arrest today? Is the boat big enough to take them all?
Yeah.
There's
what
the
they're
referee.
doing here, Philip? What's he pointing
Referee. That's referee. The big stick.
They might come over from that bridge, lads.
There's a bit too much water in that pitch, lads. We might have to abandon the match.
It's just waterlogged, lads.
Anyway, this is the guard. This is the stewards trying to find the Rangers fans.
We'll use this as a cannon. We'll throw that at them if they get too
This
close.
is the members' bar at Ibrox.
Having a bit of fun here. Jesus, look at all the drink Rangers kept for their fans.
Yeah,
If they come too close,
we'll drink that.
We'll throw this at them if they come too close.
It's really hygienic, isn't it?
There's a blind them if we throw them in the eyes.
Now this fella here is very important. This is the Rangers owner at the time, and he's just been interviewed before the game and what his thoughts of the game. So, Philip, what would he be saying at this point now?
He's denying all knowledge of it. He doesn't realise that there's any illicit material there at all. And he says he's actually surprised because he thought the team would have drunk it by now.
Somebody's going to ask him. So you're going to hire Russell Martin, are you? Yeah, mate. I'm going to pay him in this. I'm going to pay him in this sludge here. That'll be enough to keep him.
That's poaching.
Jesus, that's the great stuff, Tequila. That's great stuff.
That cures all known ailments known to man.
That put hair in your chest, lad.
It does. Yeah. If it doesn't cure you, it'll kill you. One of the two.
I'm going to breathe this
in.
It
does, yeah. Makes you go blind as well. Yeah.
And I think that's enough of the preview, down.
Anyway, the Rangers board are getting rid of that.
So yes, I'm going to hire Russell Martin.
This is the Celtic manager. Yeah,
that's a young Dermot.
This is yeah. Just saying now, he's complaining, isn't he, about what's happening and about the way that they get rid of our beer, and it wasn't fair. And we bought it, we left it here, and Rangers had to look after us, and they're just getting rid of it. And I'm going to go to the Scottish FA about this. And
it looks a bit like a young Martin O'Neill. It's absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely. Yep.
He's going over his team for the match.
He's picking 11.
Well, I've decided to place 8 at the back, maybe 9. I'll play 1 in midfield and 1 up front. We're going for the win, though, lads. Don't worry.
I'm so glad. I got
sorry,
the job.
that's the wrong match.
I used to be on Talk. TalkSport. I couldn't handle Simon Jordan. It's great to be back.
Yeah.
But you know, on a serious note,
I'm sorry, lads. Sorry, I was talking about the Liverpool Tottenham game. I'll do. Can I just say there will be more of this on St. Patrick's night? There will be more.
Don't spoil it all.
Just
There's more better bits to come.
Who's this fella? What's he up to?
That's the linesman checking to see if the linesman.
Oh, look at him. He's finding the secret stash now.
He's his stash put away the whole way down the line. Oh God.
Here he is back again, denying. Nothing to do with me, lads. No, I have nothing to do with this. I know nothing. Anyway, more of that on St. Patrick's night. We're going to have fun with that. We always bring it out every year.
On a serious note, I don't know. I was just looking up tonight. I was looking up something to see what, trouble between Rangers and Celtic fans. And there was one hugely tragic episode at Ibrox Park in 1971. 2nd of January 1971, there was 66 Rangers fans killed. And
was
a
it
crush.
a major one in 66, Philip?
Yeah, but this one's 71. This is a bigger one. This was the worst. 66 dead and so many injured. It was Hillsborough, really, the Glasgow version of Hillsborough, which is tragic. And I think what happened there, I think Celtic were actually winning the match, and a lot of the crowd left early and we got into a crush in one of the tunnelways. And terrible. But anyway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, where was that? Yeah, I swear that was 66, Philip.
No, that was 71. That was 71. It was January the 2nd, 1971. You look it up there.
Yeah, what happened in 66?
There may have been one in 66 as well. I only looked up the 71 one.
Hang on, let me check. Yeah, Philip. So look, with Ireland, we are going to qualify for the World Cup. Of course, we are because we're the greatest team in the world.
Back in November when we played the match against Hungary and we were 2-1 down with 20 minutes to go. Yeah. And even when we got back to 2 each, we thought, hang on, great effort, lads, but sorry, it's not going to happen. But then when Kevin Keller hoofed the ball up, I don't know who flicked it on, but Troy Parrott scored the goal of his life. I mean, geez, I think the country moved about 3 feet to the left with people jumping up and down.
I was doing the watch along that day, and I just remember me going, it's in, it's going. Tequila, look, I know you're an England fan. England have got there, and of course you're going to say you're going to win the World Cup. And
no, I won't. No,
yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. By the time June comes, you'll have your bunting out. You're saying we're going to bring home the World Cup, and then 3 weeks later you'll be going, do you know what, Dermo? We never had a bloody chance. What would it mean to have Ireland at the World Cup?
I think it would mean a lot. I've always backed Ireland. Obviously, you can't be my first or second team because obviously my nationality is what it is. But I support you guys as much as I support like Wales, and I want Wales to do well. I always want you guys to do well. And when you had like Duff and Keane and Given, Duff, Keane all in the same team, I thought you guys are really good. And that wasn't just because obviously Robbie Keane was playing for Spurs. I thought you guys really had something for a while there. Was it under Mick McCarthy? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I thought you, and then you've kind of lost your way a lot. But that period for you guys, you were better than Scotland. You were better than Wales. Maybe you weren't better than England, but you were better than Scotland and Wales easily. So it's been too long. You've been away from it, dude.
Ella, I have sent you something on WhatsApp, Tequila, about Saipan and all about it. So do have a watch of that. Saipan is still very much, Philip, in the Irish psyche. Even though it's so long ago. The film's out. I saw a clip of the film last night where he said you can stick your World Cup up your somewhere. I mean, look, for 2002 is a long time since we last qualified for a World Cup, and we've been nearly there a few times.
Yeah.
Going back to 2002 and going back to Saipan and going back to Roy Keane and the row between him and Mick McCarthy, and him said to Mick McCarthy, "You're English, you're not a true Irishman." Mick McCarthy being Irish captain, leading us to Italian 90, and him dressing Roy Keane down after 94, getting on the boss drunk and dressing him down. Do you feel, especially with the FEA, that they've never really took soccer seriously? It's always been a bit of a, we'll have a lash, we'll go on the lash, lads, and not preparing properly for major tournaments.
they take it seriously, but they don't prepare. I mean, the 2000 that Saipan thing initially, like Roy Keane was absolutely right in complaining. Now, maybe he shouldn't have got into the spat with Mick McCarthy. Mick McCarthy wasn't responsible for setting up the trip. I mean, they turned up, but I understand. I haven't seen the film, but I understand these training conditions were terrible. The pitch was bumpy, lumpy with rocks on it. There wasn't enough practice balls. There was no nets on the goals. Stuff like that you take for granted. So there was no preparation done for that trip. I mean, one of the biggest competitions that I've ever been to, and they were preparing like they're up against it with a lack of quality in the conditions they were training in. So I can understand what Roy Keane did. Now it was the question that will never be answered was, if Roy Keane had been there, could we have gone further? And the answer is probably yes.
Yes.
But we did shoot ourselves in the foot he just shot himself in the foot and made himself very unpopular. There was a factions. There was McCarthy's side. There was a Keane side.
Yeah, there was. Where were you?
Most of the Keane side, most of the McCarthy side were Man United, were Liverpool fans. And most of the Keane side were Man United fans because they would have...
Over here, in Ireland, it divided the country. So where were you, Philip? Were you McCarthy or Keane?
I would have been on Mick McCarthy's side, I think, at that stage, because I didn't like Man United. That's probably it, Do
you know what? So was I, because I used to think, Roy Keane, you're a traitor for, walking out in your country. But
until we got the full story. Until we got the full story.
But apparently, if you do watch what I sent you does explain it, that the FAI never told Mick McCarthy or never told Roy Keane that going to Saipan was for relaxation and getting used to the weather and getting over jet lag before the serious training started in Japan. So there was no communication between the FAI, Mick McCarthy, and Roy Keane. What got Roy Keane was Mick McCarthy apparently said you feigned injury so you didn't have to go to Iran.
Right.
And Roy Keane was injured. There was a lot of friction there between the two. But it's a World Cup I think we could have won.
Could have done very well.
And I'm not just saying that.
I don't know about winning it, but you
we would have won it. I think we would have got to the final. That Irish side,
a little bit optimistic now, in all fairness.
No, it's not. Philip, that side were good enough. That Irish side back in 2002 with Roy Keane in. Don't forget, we did beat Holland at Lansdowne Road to get into the playoffs. We drew 2-2 away to Holland. We got out of that group.
It was Jason McAteer who scored the goal.
Yeah, we got out of that group against Holland and Portugal, who were probably one of the best teams in the world at that time.
Yeah, I still don't think we would have won the World Cup.
I don't think we would have done. Well, I'm delusional anyway. Ireland going to win every World.
Another thing too about the FAI, right? And I've heard this is anecdotal. I don't know whether this is true or not. But when the team would be going on a long haul flight, say Japan, right?
Yeah.
The FAI officials ensconced themselves in business class and put the team back down the back in economy. Now work that one out. That was enough to cause friction between the teams anyway. Just try and go. I don't know if you've ever been on a 12-hour flight in economy. You think your legs have dropped off when you get off the plane.
Yeah. Now, Ireland are in playoffs. It's not the first time they've been. Do not mention Paris Tequila and a certain Arsenal player. I know you're thinking it.
Look, when I watched that live, and I was pissed off that he did it because, like I say, I liked Ireland. I thought they had a really good team, and of course, he was obviously Arsenal as well. The Arsenal Spurs stuff. I hated the fact he got away with that, man. I'm not even Irish, and I hated that. It made me despise Henry even more than I already did.
Well, as we know, to this day, I still think Maradona's first goal was a perfect goal. I don't know what the English fans are complaining about. Never touched his hand.
That was handball, Dermot. Do you remember after the Thierry Henry incident, right?
Yeah.
The Sepp Blatter made absolute ridicule of the FAI at the meeting of FIFA. So, Ireland requested they be given an extra spot in the World Cup because of that. And he absolutely ridiculed us. How can you have an uneven number of teams at the World Cup? Now, on that same subject, what's going to happen next summer if Iran aren't going? How are Iran going to be replaced? There's going to be an extra qualifier going through. I don't know if anybody's addressed that issue yet.
They'll have to be, won't they?
How can Iran go to America? And we're not getting into that side. How can they
pulled out anyway, regardless. they wouldn't have been let in anyway prior to the end. What's happened in the last couple of weeks anyway. So they were always not going to be there.
They'll have to let like whoever gets the most goals in one of the playoffs.
That's one of the best qualifier should, or the best non-qualifier. Like say we get beat 4-3, and everyone else gets beat 1-0. We should be allowed in because we scored more goals.
They'll have to base it on goals scored. I don't know how else they could do it. They'd have to base it on goals scored,
or do a little tournament. Who finishes top?
But that'd be multiple matches. I don't know if they'd all.
Yeah, it would be. I don't know how they're going to do it. But look, Ireland have always played playoffs. Not our first time we've been in a playoff. Our first playoff was back in 1966, where we lost to Spain 1-0 in Paris. Long before modern playoff era began in Anfield 30 years later, Ireland were involved in another one-legged neutral venue affair in Paris, hoping to qualify for the 1966 World Cup in England. Ireland and Spain found themselves in the qualifying group where alone when Syria pulled out. Yes, Syria pulled out, having beaten the Spaniards 1-0 in Daily Mount Park. Ireland were beaten 4-1 in Seville, and there was no goal difference or aggregate scores at the time. A playoff was needed. Neither team could agree a venue at first. Eventually, the FAI agreed a deal to take Spain's share of the gate receipts. He sure was Delaney not part of that conversation. To play the game in Paris. Much to the fury of Irish players who believed it robbed them of their best chance of winning. You can read more about it in the story later. The game was also where Eamon Dunphy's debut for Ireland. So there you go. Yeah. So that team had Johnny Giles, Tony Dunn, Charlie Hurley, Noel Cartwell would rank up there some of the greatest players ever to play in England. Never mind being the greatest Irish players. It is sad. The next one, Philip, of course, we all remember was Big Jack's last game in charge of Ireland back in Euro 96. The Netherlands beat us 2-0 at Anfield. And, of course, then we go to the 98 World Cup where Ireland lost 3-2 on aggregate that we failed again to qualify for the World Cup in 1998. Mick McCarthy took over from Jack Charlton, an easy enough group to tackle, but we just couldn't qualify. Euro 2000, we again played and failed in the playoffs on away goals. It's just we just never get there, do we? Anyway, but don't worry, folks. 2002, we beat Iran, but Iran beat us in the second leg, but we still qualified 2-0, 2-1, and we got there. So, and then the last World Cup 2010, we lost to France 2-1 on aggregate, and then of course it was a game. In 2012, we beat Estonia 5-1 to qualify for Euro 2012. In Euro 2026, we beat Bosnia 3-1 to qualify for the European Championships. And then, of course, in 2020, we lost to Slovakia 0-0. We didn't qualify to Euro 2020. And then there was a little sort of, we didn't qualify to the World Cup because we lost 5-1 to Denmark. So, we haven't had great playoffs, but you went to see somebody that beat us in that 66 playoff, didn't you, Mr. Brady? As a young boy. As a young
we were living in Birmingham at the time, and my father got 2 tickets for the Spain versus Argentina World Cup game at Villa Park. I think I forget what the score was. I think it was 0-0, maybe. I forget now. But that was the following Saturday was the famous match between England and Argentina. And Alf Ramsey called the Argentinians animals and nearly started World War III. And Ratan, the captain of Argentina, was sent off. And England won 1-0, I think. But, I mean, that was a decent Spanish team. So it was, really was. And so I'm not surprised they beat us.
So, look, we are going to cover the game live here and as well on THFC till we die. So don't worry, we've got all the Ireland playoffs. Tequila, I want a score prediction from you, bud. Ireland versus Chechnya. Do Ireland qualify for 2? They've got to win 2 games now. They either got to beat Chechnya, and then they've probably got to win the winner out of Denmark and whoever Denmark are playing. I can't remember them off the top of my head. But score prediction, sir.
I think you guys will go through, and if you run into Denmark, though, I do fear for you. But I think you'll get through this one. I'm going to go I think you'll win 2-0 the first leg.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 to Ireland, and it's going to be the second leg. I like Tequila. concerned about Denmark because they've done a number on us before in recent years, and it'd be horrible to win one game, get knocked out at the very, very last hurdle. But here's hoping we might do it. I mean, you know what my omen is, Dermot? The omen for this game is when for the match against Hungary, I was in the States, and the game was live on TV, and we went 1-0 down, and I was saying that they wanted to come on. We're going for a walk on the beach. It was in Long Island. Went on a long, long walk on the beach. Came back, walking back up to that. Looked at my phone, 2 each. I said, "Gee, this is getting interesting." And just as I was going back into the house, 3-2. And I couldn't get the bloody TV working to get the channel back on. Right, that's fine. The people we were staying with are landing here the very day we're playing in the playoff against Czechia. Nice. They're staying with us for a few days. So that's the omen. We're going to win. We're going to win.
Well, my score prediction is we're going to beat Czechia 7-0 and we're going to beat Denmark 5-0.
Are you sure now? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Not enough?
Yeah. That's even more crazy than your Spurs predictions, Dermo, bless you. Wow.
Yeah, do you know what? I would love Ireland. If Ireland get to the World Cup, I will not care doing an Ireland watch along at 2 a.m. I will do it
at 2 a.m. probably 3 a.m.
Yeah. And don't worry, guys, we are going to cover the World Cup as well on both channels, so we will be covering all angles. Well, guys, that is episode number 4 of the Ireland Till We Die podcast. Yeah, a bit of fun tonight. A little bit of it was like throw your coat in the corner, grab yourself a pint, chill out, have a fag, drink and party. It's one of them sort of atmosphere where nothing's really organised. So, but Tequila, thank you for coming on, bud. It's been a long time since the 3 of us have done a stream together. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a long time. No, thanks for having me on, lads. Even though obviously I'm not Irish, I appreciate the invitation to add.
We've adopted you now. Well, I've just got some breaking news, Philip. I'm sorry. Charlie Hottie just got hold of me. True medium. Right? He's just granted Tequila Irish citizenship.
Yeah. Now, is he looking for the usual fee, is he?
No, he's going to waive it this time, he says. He waived the fee because he likes tequila. But no, Michal Martin as well just got hold of me. He says he has confirmed it. So Simon Harris at the moment is stamping your passport for your tequila. So you're now an honorary Irishman.
I'll be there soon. I need to get out of this country as soon as possible. You've seen what's going on here. It's crazy. So I'll come join you guys.
I don't know.
You see what's going on here?
And we need to invite you on the political channel, Tequila, just to express your thoughts. I know you love the Labour Party, so I know you'll have lovely things to say about them.
Yeah, Starmer, yeah.
That's it.
America's little buddy. America's little buddy. That's what we are.
Yeah. Tequila, where can people find you, bud?
You can find me on the No Sell Wrestling channel. We do a show a week, and I'm going to be doing a stream tonight about 9:30, I think 9:20, 9:30, for State of Decay, which is just me mucking around on a Friday night. A lot of Spurs fans watch me just to take out their frustrations. There, my best they do it through me playing a game, and they go and get yourself into trouble. So a lot of Spurs fans in there just trying to take away our woes.
Just very quickly on Tottenham, before we finish, Mr. Brady, score prediction for Sunday.
Oh God!
And will Tudor still be in the job Monday?
If I might mirror what you said, Ireland are going to win by there, but I'm not going to say it just to tempt fate. Do you know? We've only got Dragusin and Danso as centre backs.
Yeah,
we're gonna. I don't know. I mean, everyone's saying we're going to get hammered. We should just pass on it and give it up as a 3-0 win or defeat. I think we'll lose, but I think we'll show some fight, right? Whether it's enough to save Tudor's job, I don't think so. I think he'll be gone by Monday morning. So,
And there is rumours. We did talk about this earlier, Tequila. There is rumours a certain Australian might be back.
I'm not entertaining it, Demo.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
You know something? At this stage, I would nearly take it, and I never thought I'd say that, but I don't think it'll happen. I don't think so. But can you imagine that? Oh God!
I just say bring Harry back. Let's start.
Harry was interviewed at Cheltenham today, and he said he'd come back in a flash if they rang him.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Hashtag Should we get this started, Tequila? Hashtag Harry back.
Yeah, bring Harry back. Not this one. Yeah,
Jurgen Klinsmann's my choice. Could be worse.
Could be worse. Anyway, on that bombshell, I'm off to ring John Delaney. See, can he send us a few tickets for the Ireland game? Tequila's going to go and do something to zombies.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and Philip is going into his little black book, trying to find the latest number for Putin just to see can he organise a few tickets for the World Cup or Donald Trump for the World Cup. On that bombshell, we'll leave it there.
Good, nice.
Right, when we're back next Friday, Philip, for the Ireland
we'll watch along next Friday. Yeah, watch along.
Yeah, it's what it is. What we're doing next Friday, we're doing around the grounds. I'm covering one game, but Philip is going to cover other, and we're going to talk all things Irish soccer and what's going on. So join us every Friday for that. So thank you all very much, and please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Speak to you later. Bye bye.
To the stands, we were raised on that dream. Every name, every town, stitched together in green. Got the hearts, got the hands, got a story.